Marina Orms here, taking a look at technically tomorrow's full moon in Capricorn. I'm here with your Astro vibe for Saturday, July 20th. And of course, the full moon is exact on Sunday, July 21st at 3:16 a.m. Pacific time in the United States. So technically, right, tonight, as of Saturday and Sunday early morning. So in that time at night when we see the moon at its fullest, its most exact will be in the middle of the night. So we've got this full moon energy. We have the culmination of this moon cycle that began with the Cancer new moon, which is focused on feelings and caring and the need to show up for ourselves and others, to think about caring and what it means to care for one another and how we can best do that. As well as care for ourselves, right? Focusing on self-care is what we do here in this YouTube channel, Astrology for Unshakable Self-Care. So this full moon illuminates, right? It brings something to fruition that has been developing and unfolding throughout this moon cycle and will be culminating with this full moon in its biggest and brightest. So the thing about this full moon is it's in Capricorn. It's at the final degree of Capricorn, 29 degrees Capricorn. And it is conjunct very close to Pluto in Aquarius. 0 degrees Aquarius for that Pluto. Pluto is retrograde and going to be heading back into the final degree of Capricorn. So what we have with this full moon is a culmination, a illumination, something coming to fruition that has to do with both Capricorn and Aquarius energy. It is pulling that Plutonian energy into the forefront. Pluto is the planet of truth, power, transformation, depth, and how we connect with what is the deeper truth, what has been hidden, what has been in the realm of mystery. So dealing with this theme of a deeper truth, a deeper way of being honest, being connected to what is needing to come to the surface, right? What is needing to come in from the shadows into the light. So with the full moon that illuminates, right, is shining the light into those shadows, it is helping us to see something that we could not see previously. Because the full moon, which again is the bright light of the moon, which is reflected light from the sun, but it's the moon being illuminated and reflecting something back to us, the moon is in the final degree of Capricorn. This is sort of an indicator of this full moon is an indicator of some of the bigger dynamics at play in our bigger, society and evolution and human experience at this time. The big picture, these outer planets move very slowly and are sort of representing the slow changes that are taking place and how we go from one thing to another, having to do with outer planets. I shared last week on Sunday, July 14th, about the outer planets and what's unfolding through those, especially thinking about with this full moon. So check out July 14th's video if you want more insight into what the outer planets are doing. With this full moon, though, we're activating the energy of Pluto. So So, so the moon is in the final degree of Capricorn. This is the second Capricorn full moon in a row. It is not unheard of, but it is fairly rare to have two full moons in the same sign, following each other 1 month after the next. So two in a row. And with this second Capricorn full moon in a row, we've come now to the end of Capricorn, right? 29 degrees. Whereas the last month's Capricorn full moon, also in Capricorn when it was exactly full, but at the beginning of Capricorn. So that was like sort of opening our eyes to what Capricorn is about, thinking about deeper ways that we organize, the kinds of systems we have in our society and our lives. And now with this 29-degree Capricorn full moon, we've really we're really at the end of that Capricorn energy. It's a much more mature Capricorn energy. It's a Capricorn full moon that has been around the block a few times. We're weathered, we're battered, right? We're weary from the journey. And so we're really coming to the end of this Capricorn theme. And in addition, this Capricorn full moon, which, obviously a full moon is fairly brief in the big scheme of things, but it's activating the degree of 29 Capricorn. It's coming close to its conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius. And the theme of Pluto having been last year and this year spending many weeks at that 29-degree Capricorn point, that final degree of Capricorn, that Pluto energy, really asking us sort of in the big picture, in the collective, and for ourselves personally, to look at what what have we gotten right about what we need to look at, what have we not achieved yet, what are we bringing completion to in terms of our need to deconstruct or reconstruct or face the truth about our systems and structures, our ways of operating, our ways of organizing ourselves. So again, this speaks very specifically to themes of politics and government and what is happening and unfolding in the world around us, right? What is the authority of Capricorn? Because Capricorn has to do with authority and father figures and patriarchy and all the things that we think of when we think of, what it's like to have an authority both taking care of us and also controlling what we can do and can't do, right? So we have this feeling of restriction, of discipline, of limitation that comes from that outer authority. We also have the benefits, right? We have to acknowledge the benefits that authority gives us. And so if we're thinking about father energy or patriarchal energy, and again, it doesn't have to be your literal father. It can be a father figure or even a mother, right? It's someone who provides that structure, that discipline, the resources you need to hopefully, invest in becoming what you're capable of. And that's, of course, the highest vibration of that Capricorn authority energy. But also that authority energy has to do with what are the rules we must follow? What are the limitations we experience? And so we have that experience of having to follow someone else's rules, do what we're supposed to do, operate within the system, all that kind of stuff. So the final degree of Capricorn reminds us about our relationship with authority. What do we like about it? What do we not like about it? What does it mean for us to be the authority, right? Thinking about yourself and how you want to organize and operate, and what rules work for you, what principles, right? What kind of structures and systems would you choose if it were up to you? So those kinds of themes, right? You can see how that's, I mean, obviously that can be showing up for each of us in our own personal, individual ways, but of course, also in the collective, these are the themes that we have, is like, what is the structure? Does it work for us? Does it not work for us? What have we done to work on it? What have we not figured out yet? All of those questions. So this full moon activates that energy. Pluto is retrograde. Pluto will be returning to Capricorn, going backward through the zodiac, right? It entered Aquarius, which is about breaking free of the structure and the limitations, and building community, building grassroots movements from who we are as individuals, as in diversity, in valuing our differences, all of those kinds of things. We have that Aquarian energy, but Pluto's going retrograde. It's going to return to 29 degrees Capricorn on September 1st of this year, and it will be in Capricorn, in authority focused, limitation focused Capricorn, thinking about conservative values and the past and where we came from and what we want to create, and how we want things to be safe and comfortable, right? So a hearkening to the past when things were simple. That's kind of the essence of one of the qualitative themes of Capricorn. And that can show up in different ways, but in this case we're really looking at making a choice. So as Pluto goes retrograde into the final degree of Capricorn, it's both bringing completion to the work of revamping, restructuring, reorganizing, orienting around who we are, how we want things to be going forward, making plans, strategies, that type of thing, as we lay the foundations for the future and what we want that to look like. And we also, with 29 degrees Capricorn, so we're bringing completion to that work. We are also recognizing the work that is unfinished, right? What is the work that we will be carrying forward because we haven't wrapped it up yet or really figured it out yet. And so that we get a really an emergence into our awareness with 29 degrees of any sign of what is the unfinished business here? What is the work still to be done that we will carry with us as that planet, whatever planet we're talking about, moves into the next sign. And in this case, we're talking about Pluto heading into Aquarius. So we've had some time with Pluto in Aquarius already in 2023 and in this year since January 20th, 2024. Pluto has been in Aquarius, so it's supporting the emergence and connecting to a deeper truth with grassroots movements, supporting equality, freedom, diversity, some of the more progressive values, right? Future-oriented values. And even so, we have this this pull into directions between what made us comfortable in the past versus what we are creating that is new possibility for the future. And remember, this isn't about what political party you're affiliated with. It's not what you care about in terms of, I mean, you can see elements of both of these dynamics in both political parties, right? What is the old guard? How have we done things in the past? What is no longer serving us? Really coming into an awareness of what that is, as well as what does the future look like? What does it look like when we shake things up, when we really allow some more progressive or radical elements into our experience? And that has a really new quality to it, right? In both political parties, but it's in the collective. So it's in society, it's in our collective grappling with who we are, what it means to evolve, what are we willing to let go of if we're moving in a new direction, what are we not willing to let go of, what do we want to bring with us, what are we clinging to, all of those kinds of questions. So all of those themes are highlighted with this full moon, the July 21st, 2024 Capricorn full moon, because um because uh, the moon is in the degree that is so significant to this time period where things are coming to the surface. We're having to make decisions and choices, and it's activating the Pluto energy at the same time, really bringing in this dynamic between Capricorn and Aquarius. So between the old and the new, right? The comfortable versus the possibility, the past versus the future, the authority from, feeling like you can count on and depend on something because it's always been there for you, versus what does it look like to embark on your own and do things the way you want to and break the rules and move outside the limitations of the past. So these themes are up. And this full moon is really highlighting them. It's really illuminating them. So, we now, because we are in a moon cycle that began with the Cancer new moon, we began this cycle, and so the whole moon cycle has this theme that has to do with Cancer, caring, feelings, emotions, the more irrational side of how energy moves and how we feel and what moves us, that's not logical. So themes of caring, themes of self-care, and how we need to take care of ourselves in order to do this work of making these choices, right? We have choices to make, again, about what are we going to cling to? What are we going to release? What are we going to step into? What are we going to believe in, right? How are we going to flex our hope muscle? So, Rebecca Solnit talks about how hope is a muscle, right? Just like everything else, we have to practice hope. We have to implement hope. We have to choose hope on purpose. It's not something where we're sitting around wringing our hands and wondering whether hope exists or not, right? We are the source of hope. We create it. It comes from within us. And so how are we going to cultivate hope? How are we going to participate in the world in a way that affirms hope, and not just hope, but says, hey, I'm here, I'm ready and engaged right now in participating in creating the kind of world I want to live in. And each of us has our own path to doing that. Each of us has our own skills, wisdom, experience, etc. What we're good at, right? Do what you're good at. When you do what you're good at, you get to be part of the whole in that beautiful Aquarian way that says it takes all of us. It takes each of us doing our own weird, wild, quirky things and trusting ourselves and letting ourselves create from that future-oriented vision of what is possible, creating from what we have not yet experienced, right? That's the difference. Aquarius has a vision. It is based on ideas and ideals. And it says, I believe in this ideal and I am going to live my life because of that idea and that principle and that value and that vision of the future. So living our lives in that way. And I started this sentence with something and I can't remember what it was. Caring, that's right. Okay, so we're in the moon cycle that is about caring and thinking about how we care for one another, right? How do we care for members of society? How do we care for people who are different or have needs? How do we care for each other? And that comes from how we care for ourselves. So all of the themes of caring are on the table. What do we care about? How do we care for one another? How do we make sure that we all get our needs met so each of us as individuals can participate in creating the future? So themes of caring this moon cycle culminate in the Capricorn full moon that's asking us to make a choice about what we are going to step into because it supports the process of caring. And also, on a very personal level, each of us has to attend to our own needs. We have to start caring by caring with ourselves. so self-care gets, it's a big buzzword these days. But what is self-care? Self-care is how we support ourselves to thrive. Think about how that is an act of creativity. It is an act of rebellion against the forces of destruction. It is an act in support of the kind of future you want, and it is an act in violation of fitting yourself into a mold of expectation of how you should be, or fitting into society's or someone else's expectation of what you should be, what you should look like, what you should do, how you should live your life, all of those things. So self-care is a radical act of being who you are. Being who you are helps to create the world in creative new ways. That's all it is, right? It's affirming that we as human beings are creative, and you are one of them. You are one of us human beings who can help create the future and participate in the ways that what it is you are good at, what it is you can do. Not all of us can do, everything. So it depends, right? And if all you can do is believe in yourself and tell your friend that, hey, I believe in myself and I believe in you, hey, that might be a great place to start. And then, of course, the sky's the limit from there. So start small, start simple, do what you can do, and let it grow from there. So this full moon is illuminating something about how we can care for ourselves, how we can care for the world around us, our environment. What about caring for our environment and our home and our earth? There's so much to think about in terms of caring. But again, start small, start simple. You don't need to get overwhelmed. Small acts are powerful acts because they are definitive. When you start small and simple, you can, now you're not battling with yourself about overwhelm and whether you can or can't, or whether it's going to work out or not going to work out. You're just doing what you can in the moment. And that is so powerful and a great place to start. And you never know where it will go from there. So this Capricorn full moon is about making choices. It's about making choices about what we are letting go of, what we are choosing to believe in, what is a deeper truth that we need to come to terms with, right? That we need to be honest with ourselves about. what is being revealed or illuminated about the past versus the future. What limits us versus what liberates us, and how we can choose to participate in the things that bring meaning to our lives, that are true and right for you, all of that. And so we are heading into an election. uh, who who has forgotten that? And as we head into that, toward that election in November, Pluto goes retrograde into Capricorn, meaning that we are not done yet. There is more to complete. There is, and this is on an evolutionary scale. So this is actually helping us. It's helping us to say, okay, what is the unfinished business here? What do we still need to look at? Where do we still need to be honest about ourselves? Where do we need to lay the foundations for the future strategically? How can we plan? And again, planning in ways that create the things you want. Thinking big, thinking, last week I was sharing July 14th, that video about hope. I was sharing about how we need to think into the future, think beyond the thing we might be working against or fighting against, to what we want to create, and really making the most of this time and its capacity to help us be creative and to create a future that is different. Because that's one advantage of things breaking down, is that we have the opportunity to build them again, to build them better, to build them in the ways that really work better for us in terms of, where we're at in our modern lives, what we need now, what serves us now. So full moon in Capricorn, 29 degrees, completion, being real, being honest, being truthful, things coming to light, recognizing that you are the authority, and what does that mean for you and your life, building foundations that can support you, foundations of self-care and so much more, to help you move through this time. And you can do it. You already are doing it. So just take that step back when you need to take a deep breath, to take care of your needs, and regroup, come back to who you are, come back to center, and then take that small, simple action from that place. You can do that. That's all it is. And then it can grow, right? Maybe you'll think of another action to take after the first one. So keep on going. I'm Marina Orms, and I've been doing these videos, astrological self-care videos for unshakable self-care, and for 2 years plus going on now. And it's about moving through this time. It's about supporting us to be our strong, powerful, capable, and creative selves. And I plan to continue doing these and keeping my voice here with what I have to offer, right? This is what I do, what I can do. And so hopefully it's helpful. If you are enjoying these videos, one thing that would help me is subscribe if you haven't already, share this video with a friend, post it on your social media sites, send it to your email contacts, whatever makes sense for you. That's how we can get the word out and support my work. So I appreciate that. And of course, if you want a reading and you want to work with me, that's a great way to support my work as well. Check out the offers. There is a guided meditation for tomorrow's full moon in Capricorn that can support you to make the most of those energies, connect with your deeper self, feel regrouped and and regenerated and rejuvenated and nourished and all of that, so you can go strong and resiliently into the future. So check that out in the description for this video. Also, astrologyheals.com is my website. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support. and likes and comments. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.